Let's start off with the obvious question. Is this a Breath of the Wild clone? And I would say absolutely not. This game is similar, but it's more like AC Odyssey or Assassin's Creed 2018, which was a full-blown RPG. The footage in the background is the trailer on repeat because I don't have a capture card for my Switch yet, but Cyberpunk, which comes out next week, will be good quality like my older videos. For example, Assassin's Creed Valhalla review and Godfall. Go check out those videos if you have the time. I digress. Let's get into the review now. I haven't beat the game, but this is not first impressions. The UI and the play anywhere type of thing, like all the content spread throughout the world instead of in one location. It's the same as Breath of the Wild, but it is a little bit worse the way to do it, but it works fine. Everything else in this game is completely different. So this game does feel like it has its own identity, but at the same time, it borrows a little bit too much from Zelda and AC Odyssey, in my opinion. For example, the combat is like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but still very, very different. I'm sorry that you'll hear a lot of comparisons to that game, but it's really similar. So if you don't like AC Odyssey or Zelda, you won't like this game at all. The combat is a RPG hack and slash type of combat, and it works really, really well. You have a light weapon like a sword for your light attacks, and a heavy weapon like a big axe or warhammer for your heavy attacks, which is pretty unique actually. It works really well, honestly. So yeah, you also have abilities kind of like from AC Odyssey, and a bow, an arrow, obviously. But you can also throw rocks at enemies, which I thought was really fun. It's kind of like the magnet from what is that name? Yeah, Zelda. Another thing is you have wings instead of a glider from Zelda. The combat and the armor in this game is great. And exploring grants you new armor and weapons, and this game makes you want to explore, not put down the controller or mouse and keyboard, which is great because a game like this really needs that. One thing to keep in mind is the controls are clunky as hell and the camera's bad. Sometimes, but besides that, the gameplay is great. But when you jump, you think you might make the jump, but you're not. You're probably gonna fall into the abyss and have to wait for a respawn. I did play this on Nintendo Switch, but the reload times or respawn times, loading times were like less than 15 seconds, which is really good for like Nintendo Switch mobile on the go type of thing. So yeah, this is the stuff in the world. The world has mini games, main missions, side missions, dungeons, or they're not called dungeons, they're called vaults. But they're basically Zelda but shrines, and there's also more. I find the dungeons slash vaults, they're really fun, but not as good as Zelda because some of them feel very similar or just too easy. But yeah, that's about it for that. They're very physics based. Also, you might be like, you sound like this game is a ripoff of Zelda and Odyssey, but here are the things that are very, very different. The combat, it's more of an RPG instead of a sandbox. It has comedic story and some other minor stuff in the game. Now the story. The game is very lighthearted and it benefits from that. The story is Zeus and Prometheus are narrating a story, and you play as Phoenix rising up to fight Typhoon. And you're the only one to fight Typhoon. So it's not really a unique story, I guess, but it has a lot of heart and it's overall non-stop entertainment because the characters. Some people might not like the comedy, but I enjoyed it. There isn't too much to talk about the story, but it's great fun. Now, on the the technical standpoint, it works really well. no frame drops or crashes or major bugs. But I was on a Nintendo Switch for this review. It blows my mind. I think this game is very impressive to run this game on Switch, but if The Witcher 3 can run on Switch, I don't know, basically almost everything can, I guess. The game graphically looks really good on Switch, docked and handheld, but there is some graphical glitches, and some stuff just look really bad. But the game is at 30 frames per second on Switch, but it's 60 FPS on next-gen consoles, which is really good. But I don't know anything about the next-gen consoles technical side of things because, I played on Switch. Now on value. The value is amazing like AC Valhalla. It has a lot of content and the majority is good, and even the side content is good in this game. Unlike AC Valhalla, the new Ubisoft game, some of the side content was very underwhelming and cheap, Now the final verdict. This game is fun and a great Christmas gift and has great gameplay, heart, and value. It's the perfect game on Switch, so I recommend if you have a Switch, just buy it on Switch. You can play it anywhere. I give this game a 8 out of 10. It's great, but needs more of an identity, but I'm glad Ubisoft is actually putting effort in their games now. Like AC Valhalla and this game, Immortals Fenyx Rising, they actually put effort. Watch Dogs Legion, in my opinion, it wasn't a bad game, but it just had it didn't have as much effort as in like this game or AC Valhalla, like I said. But yeah, check out my other reviews of recent games and like the video if you enjoyed it, and dislike it if you didn't enjoy it, or subscribe or don't subscribe. And